Hey, limit breakers. This video is not for someone who's struggling. If you're in the middle of a difficult period and if things are hard right now and it's obvious in visible ways, this video isn't for you. Go and watch stage 1 or stage 2 of my previous videos. This video is for a different kind of person. This is for the person whose life has generally improved, who's done the real work, faced the fears that used to paralyze them and come out on the other side. Life is now better than it was 2 to 3 to 5 years ago. You have done things, you have things to show for the work you've put in. And somewhere along the way, you've gradually, you almost didn't notice that you've stopped pushing. If that's you, this video is for you, because that's what's happening right now. And in the place you're calling progress, it's the most dangerous stage of the entire journey. And stage 3 is called the journey for a reason. It's dangerous. The reason that it's appealing, it looks exactly like success. You face your fears, you've grown, you've made the moves, you've completed stage 1 that you would never thought you would have made it. Life has opened up different doors for you. Relationships are better. You've had the courage to leave the wrong one. The job is better. Or you started building something on the side. Or you're healthier. You're more self-aware. You speak differently about yourself than you did a few years ago. All of that is real. And here's what your brain decides to do with it. It says, we made it. We did the work. We earned this. Let's stay here. And that's the voice that goes, we made it. It sounds like wisdom. It sounds like gratitude. It sounds like this is what you're supposed to feel after years of growth and hard work. It's like quicksand. Stage 3 has 2 archetypes. So the traveler who keeps pushing, keeps expanding, keeps doing things that makes them feel uncomfortable. And then number 2, there's the settler who stops growing the moment life becomes comfortable enough. And here's the thing about the comfort at stage 3. It's earned. You did the work to get here. The comfort is real and deserved. And it's better than where you were before. That's what makes it hard to leave this stage. Settling doesn't feel like failure at stage 3. It feels like you've arrived somewhere. It feels like you've paid off your dues. Now you're allowed to just enjoy and rest. And that's the most dangerous moment on the entire journey, because the comfort zone doesn't stay the same size when you stop using it. It contracts quietly, invisibly, week by week and month by month. The things that used to scare you start to feel manageable, not because you conquered them, but because you've stopped encountering them. You stopped doing the hard work. You stopped doing things that used to challenge you. And things you used to push towards also start to feel less urgent. Not because there's things that you've achieved, but because you've decided now good enough is the destination. Stage 3 isn't where people fail, it's where people stop. And stopping where you still have somewhere to go is the most expensive thing you can do. And I say this because when I attended my first personal development event, National Achievers Congress, I invested a lot of time and energy and money into different mentors, different courses, and it got to the point there was years of consumption, years of different habits, changing things, and I started to implement it into my life. I showed up, I did the work, I did all the things that challenged me, that made it hard for me, and it worked, right? The life started to shift. I was making progress. the patterns and things that held me back in stage 1 and stage 2, the limiting beliefs, the fears, and all of those things started to just crack, started to change, and I began to feel differently. I felt more alive, I felt more purposeful, I felt like I had a great direction. And this is when I met Ick. We started to build something together. And the thing was, I knew Ick a few years before that, but that's another story for another time. But I re-met Ick at the right time in the personal development journey. We were all on different paths, but we knew both of us wanted to grow and develop into something more than what we had envisioned a normal life. Something, I don't know, something just aligned us together, and we just stayed in touch. Life was good, we connected, we kept in touch. He was doing his thing, I was doing my thing, and we attended events together, and things were good. It was just comfortable. And that was the moment I had to be the most careful, because everything at stage 3 was whispering, stay here, this is it, you've arrived, like you've changed, you made progress, your income's improving, the community is building, your relationships are getting better, and the work felt meaningful. I felt like everything that I was working towards just felt like, you've made it, just enjoy, just rest, just stop here. And I felt it, like the settling instinct. Like it just went, oh yes, this is cool. And the pull to stop doing the uncomfortable thing, the hard things, and defending everything that I've created, and to go from building to protecting, and from growing to maintaining. Like everything was just comfort. Like this was a good stage. But the traveler in me that just kept on wanting to move. There were days where I was like, oh, I want to just keep trying different things, keep moving forwards. But then also there's the settler archetype that was just going, hey, you've done enough. Just stop here. Why you keep pushing forward? Why you keep moving? You stay here. And there was just like two voices going in between. And from what I understood, at least in those periods, was like the comfort zone is like a muscle. It grows when you stretch it, and it shrinks when you try to protect it. And the person I'd become was the one with a bit of momentum, a bit of recognition, stability, that person that was still capable of more. Like I wanted more. I had this drive to keep chasing something. And the capacity wasn't, I had capacity. It wasn't gone anywhere. But the willingness to be uncomfortable again was something that was just holding me back. Like to be in a position of not knowing and risking and potentially failing in front of the people that congratulated me, who was along with my journey, expected something from me. Like that was getting harder. Like, and not because I was like weaker than the person who climbed out stage 2, because I had more things to lose. Like I had all of these things that I felt like, the titles, the salary, the material stuff, and it was like, oh, if I stop now, everyone's gonna judge me and da 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 da. And that was the thing that was the most dangerous. Was that the version of me that was comfortable with the one I built myself. And I was like, what is this going on? Like, what is going on? And I remember for many years, I trained in martial arts for many years since I was like 12, 13. And there's always something that my sensei said to me that I've just never forgotten. And he never told me to win. That's the thing. Like, not once in all the time I trained, in years of sparring and preparation for any competitions or whatever. He never looked at me and said, like, go out there and win. But like, he told me to be unafraid of losing. And at that time, at that age, I didn't understand what he meant by that. I thought it was just like things that he just said. And, I just didn't have the perspective to grasp what that actually meant. I thought not wanting to lose was something as wanting to win. It's not. Winning is the outcome, but being unafraid of losing is about who you are when the outcome doesn't go your way. So most people at stage 3, and I was included in this, have structured their entire lives around not losing, not consciously anyway, not a strategic decision. It's what your comfort produces. You've created. When life improves, it's the instinct to protect everything that you've built. And that protection is always underneath about not losing. And the safe option and the safe opinion in a meeting, when everyone is nodding along the way, like the safe relationship that works on paper, when it's not working at all, like you're completely not compatible, but something keeps you together. And like the safe plateau that represents us, it's reasonable to go from here, the safe version of the vision, the one you can achieve without risking everything. All of it is stage 3 protection. Like it's all of it is hiding at stage 3. And the hiding doesn't look like hiding. It looks like wisdom. It's like maturity. It's like sensible about what's actually sustainable. And a challenger doesn't avoid the fall. A challenger falls and gets back on the map. The difference between a traveler and a settler isn't the talent, isn't the commitment. It's not how hard you work to get to stage 3. It's whether you're willing to get back on the map when you don't have to. When you could be sitting, you could be sitting when it's comfortable enough. The people around you will understand if you stayed sitting. And that's the moment that decides which archetype you are. It is about getting back on the horse, even when you fall off. You could be the one that falls off and stays off, or you could be the one that falls off and gets back on as soon as possible. And that's the difference between the settler and the traveler. And this is the distinction between stage 3. It becomes that launch pad or a destination. The traveler at stage 3 keeps moving, not frantically, but and not the grinding, relentless energy of stage 4, deliberately. Like, they look at what's comfortable and they actively seek something that isn't. They ask, when did I last do something that genuinely scared me? When was the answer is too long ago to do something about it? Like, for instance, me doing cold plunges, cold showers, doing a skydive, things that really scare me. And that's the kind of, like, I'm not saying everyone needs to do those kind of things, but what's the thing you did last that scared you, that challenged you, that made you want to step up another level? Like, it could be, for me, it was like learning archery, maybe learning mountain climbing, but things that challenged me, like things that I wasn't good at. But I decided to become a newbie and learn and expand. Because the traveler isn't uncomfortable with comfort. Like, here's the thing: we're not scared to take new challenges, and we've already lived through stage 1 and stage 2. We've got that growth. We've got that knowledge. We know what scares us. We know how to overcome those kind of things. The growth exists on the other side of that discomfort, right? And we've tasted it enough and know we don't want to stop. We can keep moving forward if we wanted to. It's a choice to keep pushing, right? And the settler at stage 3 stops moving as soon as the moment things are good enough, but not bad enough to change, and not uncomfortable enough to act on it, but it's good enough. And good enough after a genuine schedule is like understandable. You've gone through so much. It's good enough. You could just chill. But this is also where good enough begins with that slow erosion. Like it's slowly eroding inside you. The settler doesn't know they're settling. That's the cruel stage about stage 3. Because setting feels like I've made it. Like I've done so much. And it feels like I'm just being realistic now, like about what really matters. Like I've done so much. I can just enjoy this, right? The question to ask yourself at this stage, right now in this moment, is one of the two things. When did you last do something that genuinely scared you? Not mildly uncomfortable, genuinely scared. Doing the things when something like real is at stake. Your voice might be slightly unsteady, your heart rate elevated in a way you noticed. For me, at that stage was public speaking, was going on stage, speaking, sharing my story, being seen. That was what scared me. And that's what I pushed through. And I did many years of public speaking training, leadership training to get myself across the other side of fear and constantly challenging myself with different ways of presenting, showing up, leading. And if you can name it and it was recent, you're probably a traveler. So keep going. However, if you have to think about it for a while and the answer is like a few months ago, or I can't quite remember, or if the first things you think of are that used to scare you but don't anymore, you might be settling. And I want to say something here that I mean. Such thing is not a failure. There's nothing wrong with that. And I'm not standing here to tell you that, oh, the life you built is wrong. I'm telling you that the muscle you used to build is allowed to be like something that you keep. You know you've achieved it. It doesn't mean that you need to stop, but it becomes something that you want to keep. And the traveler and the settler, like that isn't a massive split. It's not a dramatic moment. It's like many different small decisions made over years and months. And to do the uncomfortable thing or to choose something comfortable alternatively, which direction are you choosing to point at? And here's the thing, the shift out of stage 3 isn't a dramatic overhaul, isn't like drop everything. It's a decision to just keep going, keep pushing. Not to blow up what you've built, not to go back to stage 1 of stage 2. It's to pick up the practice the momentum that you had that got you to stage 3. And the practice of deliberately doing what makes you uncomfortable and make it ongoing rather than occasional. So the comfort zone is like a muscle. You build it once, you can keep it. You can keep building upon it. But the question is whether you're willing to be uncomfortable again when you don't have to be. When staying comfortable is an option, and when people around you wouldn't even notice if you stopped growing. That's the hardest version of the question. It's not, will I do this when I have to? Well, you probably already answered that. You proved you would getting here. The harder question is, will I do this when I don't have to? When I'm comfortable, when things are fine, when nobody is forcing me, will I still choose growth? That's the traveler's answer from stage 3 to 4. And it's not one decision. It's every morning, every time the comfortable option and the growing option gives you the choice. Which one do you choose? Do I go for comfort? Do I go for growth? And here's the last thing. If you recognize yourself in stage 3 during this video, if the settler description made you feel uncomfortable in that particular way, that accurately describes you and makes you feel uncomfortable, then something is already shifting. The recognition is the beginning, not the arrival, the beginning. Knowing that you're settling doesn't automatically mean you stop, but it makes you think about it. It makes you settle a conscious choice rather than an unconscious one. There's nothing wrong with it. Again, there's nothing wrong with settling. The conscious choices are the beginning of change. And this is where, all good and well being self-aware, but if you do nothing about it, then you're just aware. And this is why we create the assessment. And it tells you exactly which stage you're at and what's specifically keeping you there. And the link will be in the description, and just go through it as honest as you can. And if stage 3 is where it lands, and if the video describes your life more clearly than you're comfortable with, go through it and see what comes out of it. Because the thing is are you truly ready to face your deepest fears? And are you really ready to go through that discomfort? The one that you've been avoiding by staying in the comfort that you've earned. Are you a traveler or are you a settler? And your answer to that will determine your next chapter. So live life with no limits. I'll see you guys in the next video.